Hello, man of God. Welcome to the Freedom for Life YouTube channel, where we help you by equipping you to become the hero in the household, to have an unbreakable marriage, and to pass that legacy on to your children. Today's conversation is all around this. What is the one thing that is causing your wife to not feel safe? Maybe you don't understand, what that looks like, but for me, it looks like this. Have you ever been in the relationship with your wife and you feel like there's some shell, some bubble that she's got around her? You just can't seem to penetrate. You guys aren't having conversations. You're not sharing deep things. It feels like she's being guarded, or it feels like you just can't get to the real woman, right? You can't have a conversation. You don't laugh. You don't have those kind of light moments in your marriage. It may be coming down to something that you're not even aware of. As men of God, we're believing that we're providers for our household, and that is absolutely a great intention and desire for your life and for your marriage. That you'd go out there, you'd work, you'd slay your dragons, right? You'd bring home the bacon, you'd do the things that you're called to do as a man of God, as a husband in the household. And that's absolutely true. The challenge is sometimes we can do it to a point that we neglect the household. It's about provision versus presence. At some point, when you're never home, when you're never available, when you're never connected, all of a sudden there can be an emotional barrier between you and your wife. It's not something that comes along all at once, and it's not from the intention of her, putting you down for doing those things. It's that you're putting second things first. While absolutely you're supposed to be providing for your wife, if what you're providing for her is only the money and not your intention, not your presence, not your emotional connection, then all of a sudden your wife can shut down. Then all of a sudden it's a place where she's not able to connect with you, and she's feeling guarded. She's feeling like she's not really getting to know you. And you, on the other hand, have been there where you're working these long hours. We need to make that house payment, or we want to go on that vacation, or we want to save the money for this big thing in our life, or maybe we're just paying bills, but you feel this obligation to make sure that those things happen. And I applaud you for that. But sometimes we're doing it at the detriment of the relationship. At the end of the day, my wife doesn't want me to have a boat in the driveway or a great trip to Europe if it means that we don't stay connected, that we don't know each other, that we don't have those intentional moments in our life. And so in this life mastery journey you're on, it really comes down to identity. And many times, as it's been said in a previous video, many times we think our work is our worth. And I have to achieve all of these things in order for me to have value and worth, so that I feel like I matter. But in that place of understanding who God created you to be, you understand that the work that you do is an outworking of who you are. It's not proof of who you are. And in that time, you're able to understand that in marriage, sometimes less work is better, because less work gives me the chance of intentionality. Or at the other side of the coin, it's understanding that the time I put into work, if I put intentional time at home, now all of a sudden I can do those things, right? Because I've been there where you've had a business, or your job makes you work 6-7 days, 12 hours a day, or whatever it is, right? We have obligations to meet, and that's absolutely appropriate to do that. But what obligations are you meeting at home? Are you finding intentional time? Are you finding that one-on-one time of looking at each other and checking in on your marriage and seeing how things are going, and having those emotional connections that you believe you're supposed to? Or is it a matter of you're coming home and I just need to decompress, and I don't want to hear about anything or engage with anyone. I'm so tired from the things that I've been doing. If you'll do that intentional work of investing in your wife when you get home, I believe you'll have more permission to go out there and do those long hours, do those big things, do those hard things that you have to do. But it comes from a place of we're united first, we're connected first, we're intentional of our relationship first, so that I'm here for you, not just with my provision, not just with the paycheck I bring home, but with my presence, so you know that you matter. You remember those days, right, when you were dating your wife and you were pursuing her, and she was all that you ever thought of, and you'd call, you'd text, you'd write, you'd do whatever, you'd send gifts, you'd send flowers, you'd really pursue her in a way that she knew that she mattered to you. And then we get married and we back off and we do other things. So what if you were to re-engage some of those things? With my wife in our relationship, when we're not connecting, when we don't seem to be on the same page and there's no joy in our interaction, that re-engagement of the intentional, that understanding of I'm not pursuing her like I'm supposed to, is the thing that will unlock my wife's desires to know me, to be around me, and to be a part of the things that I want to be a part of. And for me, for her as well. At the end of the day, you two matter more than any job, any business, any vocation you'll ever have. You're doing those things for the relationship. When they become a substitute for relationship, when they get in the way of relationship, then maybe we need to re-engage and rethink what we're doing. And in that place, when you're intentional about looking after the things at the home, when you're intentional about reconnecting and being a part of each other's life emotionally, relationally, as well as physically and financially, then all of a sudden you're going to have the marriage you want. You have it on the inside of you, man of God. Pursue your wife just like when you first met her, and you'll have the marriage that you desire. Pass these tips on to somebody you know who needs them. Bring that marriage up to the level that you're created to have, and dominate your day.